Hey guys, I just want to preface this video with, with the recent news of some high profile tracks closing, such as Indy RC down in Dallas, Fort Worth area, as well as Thunder Alley in California. And there's been many more other tracks as well recently. I've seen all over social media. For me, it definitely, it's tough to see, So in the past couple of years, we've actually lost two of our local indoor tracks here in St. Louis, Missouri. We lost Smack Track, which was a highly popular and successful indoor clay track. It's off-road. That one was kind of unavoidable. I think the landlord just had other plans for the property. So it is what it is on that one. I don't think we could have avoided that. And then Pro Level, which was actually indoor carpet facility, race carpet off-road and on-road there. Awesome facility. Super bummed to lose that one this year, actually, earlier this year. That one, same deal. It's just a landlord issue, and it was unavoidable. So anyway, with that being said, let's get on to the video. Hey guys, Wes with Dirt Concepts. So today I just wanted to cover a topic that I think is kind of near and dear to the heart of a lot of us RC racers. So if you've seen the recent Mark Santa Maria video, he kind of talks through the economics of running an RC track. So actually a while back I went through that same rigmarole that basically Mark did and kind of came to this conclusion myself as well. So the reality is it's tough with today's real estate market and economy to make a indoor track sustainable. That's why you see so many closing up shop all the way around the country. Super unfortunate. The indoor racing we have today is just awesome, especially for the competitor, just because it's so razor sharp, fast paced. It's a lot of fun. That said, the old school racing was fun too. So there's nothing, I think both are fun, they're just different. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. So the first topic I wanted to cover is, first off, for some of you that aren't really aware, you probably see a lot of videos of mine that are based out of St. Louis Dirt Burners. Well, I am heavily involved in that track. I'm actually vice president of that track. So it's a club run organization called St. Louis Dirt Burners. We're located in St. Louis, Missouri, or really Kirkwood, Missouri. The biggest takeaway from this, I think, is just like owning or running a track is really a labor of love. There's no opportunity, I think, just from the track itself to like turn a profit per se. So our track is actually located in a public park. It's all nonprofit, so it's all volunteer based. Everybody on our team, we all volunteer our time. A lot of the things that we acquire for the club, a lot of times are donated. So, it kind of helps keep the costs down low. We are also, since we're in a public park, the city, obviously we're able to establish a good relationship, a working relationship with them. And, we're able to be successful now for a little bit over 30 years now, since our track was established. So very proud of that. I wish that a lot of other tracks around the country kind of had the same fortune for them as well. So I know that we're very, very lucky. So next topic is like, why is the indoor tracks closing such a big deal? Really, it comes down to that it's impacting 110 scale off-road racing. So for some of you that are new to the hobby, or some of you have been around for a long time, maybe you know that like the 10 scale is really the cheapest way to get involved in the hobby. Really, it's two-wheel drive buggy, I think, is probably the cheapest, most simple class traditionally for off-road. It's kind of our farm system, for us locally, and I think for a lot of A-scale tracks around the country. They depend on that 10 scale racing, the 10 scale racers, to eventually get hooked on RC racing and then graduate up to A-scale. So with indoor tracks closing, the 10 scale racing scene is also starting to die down a little bit, and it's definitely at risk of dying altogether if things continue at the current trend. So how did 10 scale racing, end up in the position that it's in today? I think a lot of that's just driven by competition. All the chassis designers and trying to get their cars faster. The track owners trying to have more grip than the next owner. A better track conditions, more consistent. Faster lap times, faster pace, etc. All that kind of has driven the cars' designs how they are today, with all of them being mid-motor, a lot of them being very forward weight bias mid-motor chassis designs. And this is mainly, I'm talking about the tool drive buggies. And really, I think that also translates to, the stadium trucks and the short course trucks and even the four-wheel drive buggies too. They're really optimized for these indoor tracks these days. So the problem that we have, though, is these mid-motor cars, while incredible on the modern indoor tracks, they're just not really designed for that loose, low grip, loamy dirt tracks for the beginner, I should say. So, and what I mean by that is like backyard tracks. So when you have new people new to the hobby, what they're going to do a lot of times is maybe, them and some buddies, or if it's a dad and his kids, they'll build a backyard track just to play around in, at home. The problem is a lot of these modern buggies, they're, especially for the new people, they're just going to be very difficult to drive on those lower grip, dirt tracks, essentially. And then, let's say that they do get the car figured out, because that's the thing with the mid-motor buggies. The mid-motor buggies actually are faster on the lower grip tracks, but the setup has to be spot on. Tires have to be good. And not just that, the driver, has to have a certain skill set and definitely some experience with running on the lower grip tracks. So as I said, the problem we have, with the mid-motor buggies not being as approachable, I think, to the beginner on like a backyard style track, ungroomed surface. Not just that, let's say they get the car dialed in, and then these backyard tracks are really nothing like, the modern indoor racetracks that we have competitive racing on. So it's really, I think, tricky for them to make that jump. There's just really no relation other than, you're going around a track and putting in laps. So I think I've probably gone into the problem, describing it, why it's happening, and I haven't really gotten into, though, what are the potential options to fix this, situation. Well, it is a very complicated problem, first off. I don't think there's going to be a silver bullet to fix this. But what we can do is at least make some changes in how we run things. Both, I think this needs to be kind of industry-wide, and really all the track owners have to be aligned on the same page with this. The reality is, like, developing new chassis is very, very expensive, especially like the plastic molds, all the CNC programming. Like, this stuff's not cheap. So, a lot of times these manufacturers, they're going to invest in that, assuming that they're going to sell a certain amount of kits over a period of time, where they can kind of get their investment back and make a profit. So to go to the manufacturers, all of them, and say, hey, you guys need to redesign your buggies, I mean, that's not necessarily realistic. So one option is we could look at outdoor tracks with AstroTurf. The mid-motor buggies would be great on the AstroTurf. They're going to have a ton of traction. And I think for the newbie, they're not going to be spinning out in circles trying to drive a mid-motor for the first time on low-grip dirt. So the AstroTurf is definitely an option. And I say outdoor because then you don't have to deal with the roof over your head paying for that. It's really expensive. And you don't have to have all the infrastructure and everything, other than maybe electrical and some water. One thing else we could look at is club run organizations. So it's kind of unfortunate today that there's just not a lot of club ran tracks around anymore. I don't know why. Back in the 90s and the 2000s when I was racing, it was mostly clubs were running tracks. I mean, it was actually, I only knew of a handful of tracks that weren't like that. Now it's definitely the opposite. So club run is nice because they're not for profit, and then everybody that is involved in the club, other than a few certain specific roles, are not compensated. They're all volunteer based. So it lowers your overhead drastically. So the other thing you can do is engage with your city, and then find some property on a city park, and then you essentially have to sell a proposal to your city and see if they're interested in working with you to get a nonprofit club ran RC track there that the community can use, and the track would have to be open to the public. So something to consider. Like I said, we do this at St. Louis Dirt Burners, and it's been very effective for us for 30 years. So I understand it's a lot easier said than done to get that in that position, but it's definitely something that I think it needs to be a priority for prospective track owners to look into. So what are the next steps? Let's say after we migrate to club run facilities, not 100%, but obviously more of them. We look at outdoor tracks as an option with AstroTurf instead of dirt or any kind of like treated clay, for example. I think in the future, then we really have to start taking a look at coming out with like a rear motor buggy option. I think the only way this is going to happen though, unless there's got to be some kind of rule changes with ROAR or IFMAR, really both. So let's say that the ruling bodies, ROAR and IFMAR, change the rules or something, and they have, there's kind of two options. Either I don't think you abolish like the mid-motor buggy option, because especially like look in Europe, they have these makeshift office carpet tracks that are pretty awesome. A lot of them are club ran too. So that's certainly an option for us too here in the United States, and we could definitely look at that. I really think there needs to be a split though, to where there's like two classes for tool drive buggies. So you have like a rear motor and then you have a mid motor. I don't know what that looks like as far as like, the competitive side of things, titles and everything. We can figure that all out down the line. But the idea is though, we want to make RC racing more accessible to new people. And to do that, you have to offer the class, or at least have lots of tracks that offer the class that is the cheapest way to get in RC racing, and that is tool drive buggies. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Sorry for going on a long rant about this, but it's just been really sad to see what's been happening. And I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. And if you think I'm wrong, that's fine. You guys can, or if you think of something that I didn't think of, either way, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team here. We want the RC racing to grow, and we want to keep our farm system around. We want to make it accessible for new people. So let me know your thoughts. Appreciate the watch. Thanks.